In this video, we will be specifically talking about Andersen hitches and their innovative way of towing and their products. See here, this is a anti-leveling bar chain, so it replaces the bars. We have balls that are universal, as in a 2-inch and 2 5/16, and you can raise and lower them. And they're also made with different types of materials. You can go really expensive to the inexpensive, as well as the fifth wheel ultimate connection that you see right here. If you look on the top of that corner, there's a little boy hauling it around. I mean, it's only 35 pounds. It's not that heavy, and it doesn't take up that much room in your bed. This is a very sweet connection that we will be talking about, made in the USA. Matter of fact, it's made right in the great state of Idaho, in my hometown, Idaho Falls. And what's interesting is the owner has a lot of these products are invented by him. These are boxes and buckets, I guess you could say, jack blocks. There's magnets on the top of them so that they connect or stick to exactly where you need them. And then you have your leveling wedges, I guess you would call them, level your trailer. Alright, now let's get to the video. I am moving a fifth wheel for the buddy of mine, and I just picked it up at an RV place. And I'm going to talk about this ultimate connection from Andersen Hitches. They are a local company here in Idaho Falls, which is nice. And if anything that I say you forget, it's all here. So you don't have to worry about remembering absolutely everything, because it's all here on the stickers. It tells you the gross weight, the tongue weight, the how to set your foot pounds on these bolts here and here. These are your set bolts. This is the bolt that raises and lowers a piston that goes on your drop ball. This weighs 35 pounds, which is awesome. Then you have this, I don't know what you call it, Teflon or polypropylene, I don't know the exact. I'm sure it's probably patented and a business secret, but this is a non-greasable ball on top of here that you can adjust up and down. We'll see. I'll show you that when a little later. And but with the Dodge truck, this is actually sits pretty high, so you pretty much want it as low as you can. Here's your locking mechanism, and these bolts here just lock around the fifth wheel. And then I don't know if you can see that in there. You have 4 set screws, and those are, like what it says here, 40 pounds. So it's awesome, made in the USA. This is a lockout adapter, because this particular hitch rotates, and this is needed because you get plenty of rotation and movement on here. I have heard of people hitting their beds on this area here because there's so much movement on this fifth wheel, but I think I have plenty of gap there, so I don't have to worry about that. And let's jump down and I'll talk a little more about, you can see there how it sets back from the center. I mean, so all the weight is distributed across the whole bed and above in front of the axle like it should be, but this is back just slightly, as well as that's a little bit forward. So long story short, that helps out with the short beds. You can pull fifth wheels with a short bed and not worry as much about damaging or busting out your glass as you would with a long bed. So everything clears, everything looks good, and I'll pull it and we'll see how she does. So I made it and taken it apart, took off the lock here, and this is the Allen wrench. It's a 1/4 inch Allen wrench, I believe, and a lot of them, you know, about that size, the 2/3 of this size. And what they were saying, most people don't have like a torque wrench with a Allen wrench, but if you have something like this and you tighten it to where it needs to be, and the salesman said that if you do a quarter turn past where it gets really tight, then you should be fine. That's what I did, and it worked just fine. The trip was wonderful, actually. Because of this polyurethane bushing inside and out, you can see up there. It seemed like it soaked up some of the energy. It pulled real nice. There's not like jerking or any motion that jarring motion, I guess. The mat itself also, when I put the fifth wheel on it, I was able to torque that down to 60 pounds. Like, it would be 60 pounds, but once you put the fifth wheel on it, it'll loosen it up. And then you got to do an additional 60 pounds again because it will lighten up. And that's just how it goes in and out. It's actually very simple, very quick, very easy. I highly recommend that rubber mat, even if you do have a rhino lining in your bed. If you have a paint job in your bed, it's pretty much a necessity. It helps take out vibration from the road, from everything. Whoa. Right by the airport, kind of annoying, but this rubber mat's a necessity, I think, for all types of surfaces, even if you have rhino lining or paint, because it does help take out all of the vibration from the roads, from the harmonics, from pulling. And it was actually a breeze. I really liked it. I had to back it in. There's the road here. I had to back it in to this location. I got really wide and had to move it around and, you know, lack of better words, jackknife it. And there's still plenty of room for my cab. I mean, I loved it. It was a great experience, and I'm going to love using this. And then there's that pin. If you pull that pin out, you can see my shadow. Pull that pin out, and this ball will go up and down a good, what is that, 3 inches, if needed. But they were telling me that as long as that part on the very bottom sticks out, it provides a lot more support. When you use the very last hole there, it can move a little bit, which could be annoying, but as long as you have a truck that's high enough, you'll be fine. Nothing like lowered, for example, lowrider, but if any of you are running these rock tamers, they're pretty nice equipment, except for after putting a lot of miles on them, they really move around to the point that that little screw right there has been hitting my bumper and rusting it up. So today I'm going to fix the issue. And even though they have these set screws that you can put in, with all that movement, you can see a little tiny notch right there. It does wear away the hitch. And even if you had another, like a solid steel hitch, it would wear the bolt away, and eventually, you know, with tightening and all that and stress, these will break off. So I figure I have an idea that will work. One bad thing, see that little cup right there? I don't know why it does that, but or why it's designed like that, but it makes it lean real bad. And so I have an idea that I'm going to put a piece of steel in here, a wedge, that's going to hold it up like this, and it'll rock back and forth like that. But I hope to put like some Teflon in there to tighten it up a little more, but it'll definitely keep it away from my bumper and hopefully make that a little stronger. But that's a problem with these rock tamers. I have been using this Andersen hitches for a while, and actually all summer. And I really love the adjustability with just take these keys right here, undo the pin, pull them out, slide it up and down. You can swap it from 2" to 2 5/16. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick little video for people that may not know on towing. These are just some tips to look at. These are for leveling bars. It's a bar that goes down. Actually, there's a chain right here. It goes across, and then there'd be a special hitch that it attaches to, and it strengthens the truck and trailer like this. So if it's a 1/2 ton and this load's too big for it, it'll help everything expanded contractor or all the suspension work together. So, but because I have a 3/4 ton, I don't need these. But if you do have a 1/2 ton, this is highly recommended. You see them a lot on RVs, for example. This is your brake or emergency brake trailer, or emergency brakes on the trailer. This, as soon as the cable's pulled, then it'll activate the brakes and stop it. Usually that'll happen when your whole hitch comes off. This style of hitches with the tongue, it raises right here. A lot of people don't like these. They're not as positive. There's like a slide knuckle, and it opens up like a clam. Those type is a little stronger than these. You want to cross your chains. You want to twist them. You can see how they're twisted. If they hang too low, this might be too low for some people. And then hook them up there. Make sure your lights are in, and there's a 7-pin. There's a little stopper there that helps keep it shut. Make sure your what do you call it, jack is all the way up. I really like this style of hitch. Works really well. There's a key for here and here, so you just lift it up. There's a key there, and that'll twist and lock the pin inside, and you can remove it up and down. You can flip it around to a 2 5/16 or 2". And the biggest key, or the reason why you would want to do that, is to keep everything level. You can see how that trailer is all level all across the ground there, and it's loaded, everything's loaded, and you really want that, because if you don't do that, you'll put too much strain on one axle. In other words, if that trailer is, you know, too high on this side and low on that side, then your rear axle will have more weight on it, and you can tell by the footprint of the tire basically which one has more weight. And you want to have it dispersed evenly, and those hitches work really well to adjust on whatever trailer size you have or anything, to make everything level and tow well. So those are things to watch out for, things to do. I'm surprised that I see a lot of people towing. They've been towing for years and they don't do those things, those precautions. This is my sister's friend's trailer, and we learned from the experience of the last one where we blew 3 tires and basically 5 was replaced. We went in, and the old tires here were 2009, 2010, and 2012 were the manufacture dates. So we put on newer tires. These are a 8-ply. You can tell because it's 65 PSI on the sidewall recommendation, and the old ones were a 6-ply. So I opted, well, they need to be replaced anyways, but we put on 8-ply. I lubed up these hubs here. I love how these little rubber things pop off, and you can put your grease gun in there and grease those hubs. It's very good on long trips to grease them before you even go. When greasing bearings, you can see that there's like a little ball bearing inside of there, and this one's nice and clean, so most likely that ball bearing's not stuck. This is like probably one of the main options where it just snaps on, and then when you pump up the grease, it pressures on, and it'll grease your bearing. But sometimes you need a tip like this. Actually, this is all I use. because there's a lot of bearings that are stuck, and when you try to pressure up and put grease in it, it just squirts out the sides. For example, see this one? It is completely packed full of grease. Most likely at one time that bearing was jammed in there and you were pumping in grease thinking you were, and it's actually squirting on the sides and the hub's never greased. So I would suggest getting those the needle bearing tip grease on your grease gun, and you won't have that problem with not being able to grease your stuff. There's only been a few that I've never been able to grease, probably because it's just totally bad in general, but that will unplug a lot of those and you'll not have that problem anymore. So this is completely full. If you guys do plan on polling in the future, like multiple trips or long distances, a diesel, at least a 3/4 ton's the way to go. This one's all set up with airbags. You can see that airbag right there, and then there's the lines. Has an air compressor under the hood, so you can automatically leak out the air or increase the air, which works out great.